In our video number 7, we are going to study about the central bank or the Reserve Bank of India. In our previous video, video number 6, we learnt about the commercial bank, its functions. Let's now see. Every country has a central bank. In India, we call it the Reserve Bank of India or the RBI. In UK, the central bank is known as the Bank of England. Whereas in USA, it is called the Federal Reserve System, and so on and so forth in various other countries. In our country, the Reserve Bank of India was established in the year 1935. It is the apex bank and it controls the economy, the supply of money and also the credit. The RBI also regulates the commercial banks in India. Then what are the functions of the central bank? The first of all the functions is that it is the authority of the currency or the bank of issue. Since it is the sole authority of currency, it gives uniformity in the issue of currency and it also controls the money supply. The second function is that it is a banker to the government. The government could be a state government or the central government. It gives the same banking facilities to both the state government as well as the central government. It maintains the balances, arranges and manages funds of the government. Then it gives loans to the government. It accepts receipts and makes payments for the government. It works as an agent of the government in matters of collection of taxes. And it manages public debt. It also acts as a financial advisor to the government. The third function of the RBI is that it is a banker's bank and a lender of last resort. A banker's bank because it holds surplus cash reserves of commercial banks. What we learnt in the previous chapter, the cash reserve ratio which the banks are supposed to keep with the RBIs. It also gives loans to the commercial banks when they are in need of funds. And the central bank also provides a large number of routine banking functions to the commercial banks, like check clearing, remittance facilities, etc. It also acts as a supervisor and a regulator of the banking system. It makes rules like their licensing, branch expansion, liquidity of assets, amalgamation or merging of banks. Of late we heard the merging of the Andhra Bank and the Corporation Bank into the Union Bank, and liquidation, that is winding up of banks. The control is exercised by periodic inspection of the commercial banks. Then what is meant by the lender of last resort? It means that when a bank is faced with unanticipated severe financial crisis, then the central bank is said to be the lender of last resort. Does such a condition ever occur? Let us look at this. If suppose all the account holders want to withdraw their deposits at the same time, the bank will not have enough funds to satisfy the needs of every account holder. This situation is called bank run. Then the bank may approach the central bank, which then lends money to meet its emergent needs. So that is what is meant by the lender of last resort. If the central bank refuses to extend this help, then there is no option for the bank but to shut down. Then the fourth function is controller of credit. This is the most crucial function played by the central bank, as it can exercise an effective control over economic activity. The RBI controls the money supply in the economy by using its tools called the quantitative tools and the qualitative tools. This is also called the monetary policy by the RBI. Let's now see what are the quantitative techniques or tools used by the RBI as part of monetary policy. The first one is the bank rate policy. It is the rate of interest at which RBI lends to commercial banks for long run. What does it do? During recession, the RBI lowers bank rate. When bank rates are lowered, there is a lower rate of interest by the commercial banks. Because what the RBI does with the commercial banks do the same with their customers or consumers. So when there is low rate of interest by the commercial banks, there will be more loans taken by people. More loans would mean more money at disposal, which would increase the credit creation. This also implies a rise in money supply. We learned that the LRR, when it is lowered from 25% to 20%, the money multiplier becomes 5 times from 4 times. So that is how there is rise in money supply. The reverse happens during inflation. There is a rise in the bank rate. When the bank rates are high, there would be high rate of interest charged by the commercial banks. Because of the high rate of interest, there will be less borrowings. Less borrowings would mean less money at disposal, and hence there is decrease in credit creation. This would reduce money supply in the economy. Then the second one is the repo rate policy. The repo rate is the rate of interest at which RBI lends to commercial banks for short-term requirements. If bank rate policy is for long run, repo rate policy is for short-term requirements. An increase in repo rate would mean an increase in the rate of interest by commercial banks. High rate of interest would lead to lesser borrowings and hence a decline in credit creation, which would reduce money supply in the economy. The reverse happens when there is a decrease in repo rate. A decrease in repo rate would mean a decrease in the lending rates. When the rate of interest is less, there would be more loans taken, which would increase the credit creation and hence increase in money supply. The next is the reverse repo rate, the rate of interest paid by the Reserve Bank of India to commercial banks on their deposits. We learnt cash reserve ratio, or the CRR, is a surplus money that is to be kept with the central bank by the commercial banks. So surplus funds are kept with the RBI. Increase in reverse repo rate would mean increase in funds. When the rate of interest paid by the RBI is more, the bankers or the commercial banks would be interested in keeping their funds with the RBI. This would have a negative effect on loans because the money available with the commercial banks would be less. A lower reverse repo rate would mean increase in demand for loans, because when the rate of interest is less, the bankers would not be interested in keeping their funds with the RBI, and hence more money will be available for loans. Now the Reserve Bank of India conducts repo and reverse repo operations at various maturities that is overnight, 7 days, 14 days, etc. This type of operations have now become the main tool of monetary policy of the Reserve Bank of India. Then the LRR. LRR or legal reserve ratio, we learnt, is a sum of cash reserve ratio and the statutory liquidity ratio. When there is an increase in cash reserve ratio or statutory liquidity ratio, less money will be available with the commercial banks, and hence there will be decrease in the money creation and therefore money supply. The reverse happens when there is a reduction in the CRR or SLR. There will be more money with the commercial banks and hence increase in money creation and money supply. Then the fifth function is the open market operations or OMO. This is regarding buying and selling of government securities or bonds from and to general public. Selling securities absorbs liquidity or money. When RBI sells securities to bank or public, they would buy these securities and the money would go to the RBI and hence less money will be available. This would reduce the reserves of commercial banks and hence reduction in money supply. Buying government securities releases liquidity. That means injecting money into the economy. This would increase cash reserves with the commercial banks and hence an increase in money supply. Those were the quantitative techniques. Let's now look into the qualitative techniques. The first of them is the margin requirement on loan, which is the difference between the current market value of the security offered or the collateral and the amount of loan granted by banks. A margin of 40% allows only 60% loan. A lower margin would mean larger funds from the banks, which would increase money supply. A higher margin would mean lesser funds and hence decrease in. This can be better understood by an example. Suppose a person mortgages his house worth 1 crore rupees with the bank for a loan of rupees 80 lakhs. Then the margin requirement in this case would be 20 lakhs. The margin requirement is raised when the supply of credit needs to be curbed. And the margin requirement is lowered when the supply of credit is to be increased. The next qualitative function is credit rationing, which means fixing credit quotas for different business activities. The commercial banks cannot exceed quota limits while granting the loans. The central bank fixes credit quota for different business activities. Moral suasion. It refers to the advice through persuasion or pressure to follow the directives of the RBI to the commercial banks. Initially, it persuades the commercial banks to follow its advice, which the commercial banks do follow. In case the commercial banks fail to follow the advice of the RBI, then the RBI pressurizes the commercial banks, which is very rare, to follow its directives. As an instrument of monetary policy, moral suasion works both as quantitative instrument as well as a quantitative instrument. Now, what are the questions that can be expected of this RBI that we learned, or commercial banks together? The difference between the commercial banks and the RBI or the central bank, and each function that we learned today is a separate question in itself.